If you're feeling overwhelmed at the thought of moving, selling, and whether it's for good reason or sometimes bad reason, whether you're moving to something smaller and downsizing, or perhaps moving to a larger family home, feeling overwhelmed is understandable. However, if you have the knowledge you need and a plan in place, you can go through the process without feeling so completely fearful and nervous and overwhelmed. I have clients that are going through this in Saanich and the entire greater Victoria area, and likely wherever you are as well. I'm going to answer the question today: how do I not feel overwhelmed when I'm considering selling my home? I'm Gina Wakeham, and I'm a real estate agent here in beautiful Victoria, BC, where I help buyers and sellers achieve a successful, stress-free sale through education, strategy, and modern marketing. I'm with the Wakeham Davies Group and eXp Realty. And if you or someone you know is thinking of selling or even buying, and you need help or just someone to talk to, please reach out. My details are in the description box below. Now, I'm going to work my way through this at a pretty fast pace because we have had incredible wind and rainstorms. And right now, for the first time in literally weeks, the sun is out, it's shining. And I want to get this video done before the sliding doors on my patio here start banging away. You're going to need to know three things: your motivation, what the obstacles are you might face, and what your plan is going to be. Number one, your why. Why are you moving? What is your motivation, and what are your goals? If you can clearly define those, then you'll feel like you have a good sense of purpose in doing what you're doing. Why are you doing it? When do you need to do this by? What is it you're trying to achieve? Now, you'll hear me say this time and time again: talk to an agent early in the process. Call a real estate advisor, call 3, and talk to people and get a sense of who it is you're most comfortable with and who can provide you the best plan to move forward, because they will give you other helpful tips along the way. For example, not only can they give you an entire guideline to follow, but little tips and tricks along the way. For example, when you need to get boxes, and the sooner you get boxes and start boxing things up, the easier the whole process is going to be later. But boxes are expensive. Oh my gosh, if I go online or ask at the local moving company, it kills me how much cardboard is. But if you go on to a website, you can often find people who are trying to get rid of their moving boxes after the beginning of the month for free, because they just don't want to have to deal with disposing with them. So if you don't have social media, ask a friend or family member. The other thing that's really helpful, and this is hard for me to say this word for some reason, is to get a bin, get a dumpster, get a disposal bin dropped off at your house. It'll make your life easier rather than driving to the dump for things that can't be sold or recycled or donated. Just keep your life as easy as you can through the process. You will thank yourself later. And the other thing, if you don't know how to find them, your agent will, but you want to find someone that can come in and take a look at some of your items. Maybe it's dishes, maybe it's collectibles, maybe it's games, toys, books, and they can decide if there's value, for example, auctioning them online. So find the people that are going to help you, find your roadmap, and just jump in knowing that you have a plan. If you don't know what kind of downsizer you are, I have a quiz you can take. Just message me in the comments below. The next concern you might have is not being sure how to price your home, and also wondering if it's the right time to sell. Well, the right time to sell is when you need to sell. That's what I'm going to say about that in this video, because nobody can perfectly predict what the market's going to do. Even professionals who spend their time trying to predict it can be wrong. So when you need to sell is the right time to sell. Now, pricing, you need to talk to an agent, talk to more than one agent, and they will do a comparative market analysis for you. If you find that you're meeting with different agents and those prices are all over the place, then you have a couple options. One, if you have to pick within that range, you are best to maybe start on the lower side, because buyers are smart. And if they see good value in a home, you're likely to get more buyers in quickly, more offers, and possibly even over the asking price. The other thing you can do if you get stuck or you're confused is go get an appraisal. That is not an assessment. So in BC, we have BC assessment. I am not talking about that. We do not use that to come up with a home value for the market. We don't. We use market value, and I'm not going to get into that right now, but my point is, if you get stuck, you can go get an appraisal, and then you have that there for your own knowledge, whether it's where to price it or how to respond to an offer. Number 3 is you might be overwhelmed by showing requests and having to leave your property. Now, if you have renters in part or all of the property you're selling, you will be best to sort out a particular schedule with them so everybody knows when showings could be and can be well organized and leave the home hopefully clean and orderly. And the same goes for yourself if you're living in the home. If you find it overwhelming because perhaps you're a little bit older or you have young children, the best thing for you might be to sort out a schedule where, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's okay to show from 2 to 7, and Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can catch those early birds from 10 till 2, and Saturdays at whatever time, but not on Sundays or partly on Sundays. You never really want to say no to showings because sometimes an agent is going to be showing multiple properties in a row. And if you say no, they're likely to go on with the other 5 and just say, okay, well, we'll try to get back to that one the next day. And then you risk the buyer finding a property the day that they go on the tour of 5 properties and they didn't get to yours. So always try to be accommodating, but if you find it too hard to make sure the litter box is clean and the countertops are cleared and the bathroom is in decent shape, then talk to your agent about a showing schedule. Number 4 is the ability to negotiate. Now, you shouldn't have to be doing that, so don't feel overwhelmed at the sense of, I don't like conflict, I don't like confrontation, I don't want to be negotiating. You don't have to. That's your agent's job. That's what we're here for. That's what I am very good at. I am a negotiator. That's part of my job. And the 2 agents need to, with your direction, be the negotiators. Be the ones having those conversations. And sometimes they're not comfortable conversations, but that is what we are trained to do. So don't worry, you don't have to be the negotiator. You do have to be the decision maker, but not necessarily the negotiator. The next one, and especially if you haven't sold in a long time, is fear of the administrative side of the process. And there are so many documents and disclosures and forms that you have to fill out now that you probably didn't have to fill out when you last sold your home if you haven't sold in 10 or 20 years. But the agent that you're working with hopefully will send you those documents and forms and disclosures early on so that you can be aware of what's in them and how you need to answer them so that when you need to deal with them, you're already prepared and you're not facing offer in the heat of the moment and then trying to figure out what the 21 pages of that contract says. So please don't worry. Your agent should be able to guide you and teach you. And I like to get my clients into a place where they have dealt with all of their concerns, questions, and objections long before they actually have to look at an offer. Now, you might also be overwhelmed by emotions, and those emotions could be excitement. If you're excited about moving, a smaller home with less cleaning, or a bigger home because you're having a baby. It could be emotionally quite devastating. Maybe you recently lost your spouse and you don't want to be leaving your family home. And I will tell you, having worked with several seniors, is there is a lot more comfort in facing that downsizing process with your partner than if your partner passes away. So I hope you'll give that consideration, because sometimes moving is also filled with, sorrow and disappointment, as well as feeling like you're leaving memories behind. Your agent should be able to give you some great ideas of how to preserve those memories when you move on. Next, you might feel overwhelmed by a sense of uncertainty. What price will my home sell for? How many days on the market will it be there? What kind of subjects am I going to deal with? How many inspectors am I going to have to let in my house? How many times are those buyers going to have to come back? What am I going to have to deal with that maybe I wasn't expecting? Follow your plan, be knowledgeable, and that uncertainty will melt away because you'll know what's going on. You'll have been educated in what's going on. It won't be so scary. You'll be fine. We're here to help. That's what agents do. We're here to help you. Last one I would say is people can be often overwhelmed by the costs or not knowing what the costs can be. You need to know what's the price associated with selling your home. What are any fees? You need to know, of course, what your home's going to sell for, what equity you should end up with in your home, what moving costs you'll have, what legal costs you'll have, what reconnection costs you'll have, what equipment costs you'll have. Ask your agent for a detailed breakdown of what those costs could be, what the categories are. I have a couple worksheets for buyers and sellers that show what all of the costs could be for them so that they can fill them in and get an idea. And then there's no mystery, because if you take away all the things that are scary, it's just not scary anymore. It's inconvenient as heck, because who wants to live in boxes? Who wants to keep every countertop clean? Who wants people marching through their house if they've been through their rainy mud outside? Don't worry, there'll always be a leave your shoes at the front door sign, but you get my point. So having knowledge and a clear plan will help you through this process so you do not have to feel overwhelmed. I'm going to link some documents in the description box below that will help you. So please take a look down there after you watch this video. And if you're still watching it, thank you. I hope you'll give it a like. And if you subscribe, I would really appreciate it. You'll be notified when new videos come available, but also it helps me grow the channel. And all I want to do is spread helpful information to buyers and sellers. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm here to help you. If I'm not in your area, it doesn't matter. Please reach out. If I can't answer the questions, I will get you in touch with another agent or 2 or 3 that you can talk to and see which one is the right one for you. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.